Today I am going to explain this multiple bugs chain to take over Facebook accounts which uses Gmail, and these small bugs led to the leakage of the auth token which is done by the use of Smoother. And this is an excellent research I have already go through many times, and you should to definitely check it out, and I will link this original blog post in my video description. You should to check out there. Description of the lab of this bug is that this bug could allow a malicious actor to take over a Facebook account after stealing a Gmail OAuth ID token. What this bug is actually enabling an attacker to steal the Gmail OAuth ID token. What is Gmail OAuth ID token? So in order to define what is actually the Gmail OAuth ID token means by the Facebook, so go to developers.facebook.com/docs. I will link this blog post as well in my video description. You just have to check it out there. So here's an example link that your application might generate would looks like this. Like it is requesting from the facebook.com, and the version is 11.0/dialog/auth. After that, there are few parameters which are necessary to mention in order to log in using Facebook or Gmail. I believe Gmail has the similar properties like client ID, and here will be the ID in the form of a string, and after that the scope parameters would have an open ID, and response type will tell what on the type of code you want to retrieve from the Facebook server. For example, if you wanna extract the code, the application code, and you just have to type it here as code. If you type ID token, you will able to extract the ID token of your website or Facebook. So in order to redirect URI, what should be done if it gives you the code, and after that where the website should be redirected, you will mention it there, this parameter redirect URI, which is https www.domain.com, which will be your website, something like this. This is the whole OAuth URL, and this makes a request to the facebook.com. Similar to that one, the Gmail has also the one. If you continue with the Gmail button in order to get access to your Facebook account, so the similar flow will goes through the apps, and these Gmail server and Facebook server will exchange the access token, and you will be asked to accept and allow your credentials to be exchanged. And after that, what the both apps will do, they will verify some type of their codes, and after that you will get login. This is the actual scene, and this happened due to multiple bugs that were chained due to few multiple bugs they have identified in the Facebook ecosystem, which enables him to extract the OAuth ID token. Main ones were an intended by design accesses. By design, a Facebook having an accesses, there is a sandbox domain in which you can upload your scripts as a HTML and as a JavaScript as well. So there isn't any harm if you pop up any alert at there, because Facebook built a feature for the developers in order to test their codes at there. And a bug that caused the sharing of sensitive data with the sandbox domain. So the main bug was the intended design access by the Facebook sandbox domain, and that caused the sharing of sensitive data with the sandbox domain. Here is the little details. This is this video is going to be something big, because there's a very complex, this is actually a very complex bug. I will try my best in order to explain each and every part and each and every terms, so that you get the idea what the actual term is what the actual term is, what the actually researcher want to convey us in these types of terms and definitions. So the exploitation of the bugs was developed to only target Facebook users who have signed up using Gmail account. This exploit was built, or you can say that was developed and specific to those users who's having Gmail account attached with his Facebook, which has an OAuth flow, and that Facebook could use to log them in to Facebook using their account. And after that, this Gmail, after the clicking at the Gmail, you will go through an OAuth flow, and that Facebook could use to log them in. By OAuth flow, by OAuth token, the Facebook uses from the Gmail account of the user, and after that it will get you let in your account. It was possible to target all Facebook users, but that was more complicated to develop an exploit for this, and was actually enough to demonstrate the impact. What it is saying, it was also possible to impact or take over the mass users account, but it was become more complicated. So I am going through a simple exploit which makes sense to you guys, because the complexity of this bug is also high if you are a beginner. So you should have a very deep understanding of the sandboxes. What are the sandboxes? If you don't know about the sandbox, you should not digest this article, because sandbox itself is a very term, and a very big term. So in order to search for sandbox, you just have to type it there at whatever search engine you have, or you can go through to the chat GPT, which will also help what is actually sandbox, and it will also give you a brief overview of the sandbox. Here, for example, I am going to copy this text here, and I am going to say that give me a sample code for this one as well. So you will get an iframe which is kind of mimic the sandbox. It is not actually the sandbox. Here it is using Python code. Now if you are good in programming, you will take the idea what the actually sandbox is. In this way you will get the idea. But the sandbox in a brief overview, or in a bird eye view, I am going to explain what is actually sandbox is. Sandbox is basically an environment in which user have limited access to do something suspicious, not thoroughly. For example, we are using this chat GPT or whatever, all of these websites in a sandbox environment of the browser, because browser is directly connected with our operating system. If a user is able to bypass the sandbox of this browser environment, what they will able to exploit all of these websites, and including he or she can execute the codes from their server to any website, whatever he wants to do. It's type of a environment which have restrictions, which have a policies which restrict some kind of activities at there. So this is kind of you can say that this is kind of a frame in a browser environment or in a domain. For example, Facebook has their own sandboxes, which are the things which are the iframes, basically, which are the JavaScript iframes built in it there. So in these iframes you have unlimited access to execute some JavaScript codes. That's about it. I can't emphasize what the sandbox is. If you don't get the idea, you just have to search, and there is a lot of many resources. You'll get the idea what actually sandbox is. I did a little bit research about that. I'm not in depth. I have not in-depth understanding of the sandbox domain, but I know somehow I have the information regarding this. So let's move forward. It was possible to target all the Facebook users, but that was more complicated to develop and exploit for this. And this was actually enough to demonstrate the impact. We have already discussed this. Let's first take a look on each weaknesses I found and later how I changed it all together. It is saying that we will go through one by one all of these small weaknesses which led to an account takeover of the Facebook. So the Facebook checkpoints. Number 1, Facebook has extra security mechanisms after login which is responsible of security these account/verifying the real identity of the user / ensuring valid MFA. Facebook has a security mechanism. It means that it has a system. After logging in, it will get triggered. It will make a request to the /account or /verifying to the real identity of the user, and after that it will also make a hit to the ensuring a validity using the MFA as well. MFA means multi-factor authentication. If you don't know about the MFA, I think you are not a bug bounty hunter or a security researcher, because MFA is common. Every child can know what is MFA, multi-factor authentication. For example, you have enabled MFA in your Gmail account. If you give the password and email to your Gmail account, and you will be able to proceed further, and after that you have to click a button or click some type of number in your mobile or in your trusted device in which the Gmail account is already open, so that you can access your Gmail account at other devices as well. This is basically an MFA, but I made a little complicated. This is a very simple and straightforward thing. Here I can also give you an explanation of what MFA is. Just give me some time. Here I have gone to my hackerone.com account. It will take some time. Here I am going to hit the sign in, and after that you will see a page which is using the MFA. This is the basic MFA, two-factor authentication, you can say that. And also, in case your Facebook account was deleted for misuse or temporarily blocked, you will end up this checkpoint. This is the checkpoint, which is something like in some cases during this checkpoint, this it is talking about this checkpoint. I hope you somehow interconnected or interacted with this feature of the Facebook as well, if you are the user of a Facebook. In some cases, during this checkpoint process, you will need to complete a CAPTCHA to ensure rate limit and number of tries. In some cases, you just have to enter these numbers in this box in order to proceed further. So this was the actual https www.facebook.com/checkpoint /checkpoint id. Here they have used Google CAPTCHA. Here they have used basically a Google CAPTCHA and as an extra security feature to avoid adding third-party code from the Google into main domain. Why they used the Google CAPTCHA? They used the Google CAPTCHA because if there is a third-party code from the Google into main domain, it can inject suspicious codes as well. So they will protect these codes and they will let go if you pass the CAPTCHA as well. They just added the Google CAPTCHA in the sandbox domain and established a communication between it. They basically what they did, they actually establish a communication with the sandbox domain, and this CAPTCHA is not at the main domain. This CAPTCHA is from the sandbox domain. It is hosted from the sandbox domain, and after that it is establishing a communication between it and the main domain after putting it in iframe, and the main domain will be put it as an iframe. Everything is fine until now. The strange part implementation. Everything is fine until now. The strange part in this implementation that they, for unknown reason, maybe logging, decided to share the current URL at the point with the sandbox domain as follow. What it is saying, The flow I seem to be very fine, but the strange part is the implementation that they, for unknown reason, maybe logging, decided to share the current URL. Current URL means the /checkpoint ID. This is the current URL. For unknown reason, they decided to share the current URL at the checkpoint with the sandbox domain. What they are doing, they are basically sharing this current URL, which is checkpoint and checkpoint ID, with the sandbox domain. If, for example, the current URL is this, like checkpoint ID test equals to test, the iframe page being loaded would have this URL. The iframe, which is hosted at the sandbox domain, would have this this iframe, which is hosted at the Facebook sandbox domain. And after that, in referrer parameter, there will be the actual visited page which the user have been redirected to. The user have faced this and solved the captcha there. So this URL is belong to this page. Okay, as you can notice, the parent window. If you don't know what is parent window, what is child window, this is a really simple explanation. I am again going to explain what it is, but if you did not follow my YouTube channel, I have already covered some DOM based accesses. In that DOM based access of the Facebook. In this explanation, I have already covered the topic of parent window and child window. If you don't know, you just have to walk through these videos, and you will get the idea of what actually the DOM and what actually the parent window. If you did not subscribe my YouTube channel, you just have to go at there and make sure to subscribe. Here I can explain a little bit what is parent window and what is actually, in order to see what is parent window and what is child window. This is basically parent window, which is having the iframes inside there. If I click at there, this is the child window. This is the child window and this is the parent window. This window is communicating with this window. There is an event listener and there also is an event listener. This will send a message to the parent window, send a message to the child window. The child window will reply to the parent window. This is the best explanation. I did my previous video and here I have already explained this. So in order to make sure that you did not get confused, this is the parent window, which is born from child window, which is born from his parent, which is this website. So they interact with each other because they are cross domains, not the same origins. They are the cross origins. So secure.indeed.com is talking to the appleid.apple.com, which these both are different domains talking to each other. They will use post messages and something like that. There are high chances of leaking the OAuth token. So this was the actual idea. As you notice, the parent window URL, in this case the parent window was this and the child window was the sandbox domain. You can say that. As you can notice, the parent window URL was included the parameter. The parent window URL, which is included in the referrer parameter. Here you can see that this is the parent window and the sandbox domain, which is the child window. And what it is saying, you can see that the parent window URL is being included with the parameter of the referrer. Moreover, since we were stuck in this checkpoint, any URL visited in the www.facebook.com domain would get us redirect to the checkpoint, but again with previous URL included in the next parameter. So it is saying that I am explaining more. Since we were stuck in this checkpoint, we have stopped at there. Any URL visited in the www.facebook.com domain would get us redirected to this checkpoint, because this account was blocked or something like happened with this account. So in order to redirect to the www.facebook.com, you will get redirect to this checkpoint, which is this one. So again, but the previous URL included in the next parameter, the previous URL is also included in the next parameter. Visited https https auth callback code auth callback endpoint code is equal to code parameter. Here first you have to visit this, and after server side redirect you will see that your auth code or auth call is being embedded inside the child windows next parameter. Here you can see this as well. So this is obvious. If you visit if you try to visit the auth callback endpoint and auth callback endpoint without being logged in the Facebook, so you will be redirected to this, and this auth callback endpoint will have this auth callback endpoint will be attached to the parent window, child windows next parameter. The third step is inside iframe. Inside the iframe you can see that https Facebook sandbox captcha reCAPTCHA /iframe referer https facebook.com checkpoint id next https facebook.com, and you will see that auth callback endpoint code is equal to code. Here you can see this. In the next parameter there is the auth URL, and in the referer here in the referer you can see that this parent window having it there, and after that the next parameter having the code of the auth and the primary URL, which is the sandbox URL. Inside an iframe you can see these three URLs at the same place. At this point we can leak any visited endpoint and its parameter in the www.facebook.com to www.facebook sandbox domain. What it is saying, at this point we can leak any auth code, any auth token, because we can leak any visited endpoint and its parameter in the facebook.com to the Facebook sandbox domain. Next step is to find a way to leak it. Here we can certainly know that there's a high chances of leaking this code. But next step is to find a way to leak it from the sandbox domain to us. How we can leak this from the sandbox domain to our attacker website? This should be the hard, since sandbox domain security is loosened to main ones and an XSS was easily founded there. So he's saying that this shouldn't be hard, since the sandbox domain security is loosened. Sandbox domain security is not very much complex or not very highly secure, because it has the loosened security as compared to the main domain, which is the www.facebook.com. So what it is saying, in the second step it is saying XSS in www.facebook sandbox domain. XSS in order to leak this code we need an XSS. Our chain is complete. I already have the one in pocket for this. What it is saying, an XSS is already I have in my pocket. I wouldn't call it as a bug, since the Facebook actually used the sandbox domain. Here you can see, you can remember that in the first of the blog we have discussed that there was a feature which Facebook allows. This was the actual feature. I am going to give this practical demo. So here you can see that the app demo, and you can upload whatever file you want to upload. For example, I am going to upload an HTML file at there. So bug bounty hunters HTML, index.html. Here you can see that the index.html, and here you can see that this is my website, and you can type whatever. If you inject a JavaScript file it there, and you can easily get an access as well, because this sandbox, this is basically is having a sandbox, and their security is loose and it isn't much hard. So you can play with this as well, because this was the point where Yusuf Samuda was able to pop up an alert, and after that he was successfully able to extract the OAuth token of the Gmail account of the Facebook's account via Gmail server. This was the bug. While having a developer account and upload any HTML, what it is saying, you can upload any HTML at there. So okay, this was the feature he's talking about. Any HTML file with your script, and eventually you have it uploaded to www.facebook sandbox domain. What it is saying, you are not going to upload this to the developer account, but you are actually uploading this HTML to the Facebook sandbox domain like this: https Facebook sandbox developer tools playable preview assets and handles str is equal to str. A good thing to learn here, and Facebook actually was doing it to some extent, is to separate sandbox domain for each features. What it is saying, it is using the sandbox domains for each features separately. This ensures that the third-party code hosted and configured by the Facebook but not fully trusted. There was a sandbox domain which obviously filters some type of dangerous characters if you use something like this because these can be filtered by any sandbox as well. So what it is saying, this ensure that the third-party code hosted and configured by the Facebook but not fully trusted. The Facebook is not going to fully trust it, is not hosted on the same domain as user uploaded the code, which is mainly to ensure swap. Swap is the same origin policy. Of course, the document.domain shouldn't be set to the top level domain, and the sandbox domains hosting Facebook code. So what it is saying, you should also know that the document.domain will not trigger the domains the domain name, because same origin policy will be going to block this in a sandbox environment. And here you can see that the logout CSRF and the login CSRF, this was the third piece of bug. And yeah, here you can also see that the fourth is SOAP and COOP. So logout CSRF and login CSRF. Normally the Facebook accounts to be targeted in not in the checkpoint state. What it is saying, normally Facebook account to be targeted in not in the checkpoint state. Facebook account we are not going to target in the checkpoint state, because we will leverage this checkpoint state, but we will not directly going to target this. Because of that, we can't leverage the bug above. So what it is saying, normally the Facebook account to be targeted in not in the checkpoint state. Because of that, we can't leverage the bug above all of these bugs we can't leverage. In this case, we should to log out the current user at the checkpoint state. We are unable to extract the code directly from the victim. So in this case, what we are going to do, we should to log out the current user. First, we should to make sure that we have logged out the current user and log him into the attacker account. First, we are going to log out user from his account and logged into our account, and which is in the checkpoint state. Our account should be in the checkpoint state. But if we do that, how we are going to take over his Facebook account? There is a big question. If we, for example, successfully logged out the victim account, and now we are going to log the user using the CSRF bugs logged the user somehow to ours account, which is in the capture state. So how we are going to take over the Facebook account of the victim? The answer here to actually target a third party OAuth provider that Facebook uses, which is Gmail. The answer is here pretty straightforward, that we are going to target a third party OAuth provider that Facebook uses, which is Gmail. It is going to target the Gmail OAuth provider which uses by the Facebook. Gmail sends back the OAuth code or token to the www.facebook.com. Gmail, what it does, it actually sends the OAuth code or token to the facebook.com. If the user is logged into the Gmail, if for example user is already having logged in the like this, if user already have logged in his or her account, what we will see that, and since we can steal anything that comes to the www.facebook.com, so this is become possible if he enters to our account, and we can actually do whatever we want to do, because since we can steal anything that is coming to www.facebook, we can use the Gmail OAuth code to log into the Facebook account that has the Gmail account linked to it. We can use the Google OAuth code. We will use this such type of parameters. It is saying this kind of this URL, and we will try to fetch the code. OAuth provider that uses Facebook. Gmail sends back the OAuth code token to the facebook.com if the user is logged into the Gmail, and since we can steal anything that is coming to facebook.com, we can use the Google OAuth code to log into the Facebook account that has the Gmail account linked to it, and then after fetching the Google OAuth code, we can able to log in his or her Facebook account that has the Gmail account linked to it, meaning any account that has the Gmail account. Here we concluded that we can successfully access to anyone's account who is having the account linked with Gmail. Via Gmail, he or she trying to access his Facebook account. His account is under the thread. So SOAP and COP to steal the URL passed to the iframe. In order to steal the URL which is passed to the iframe, I think you getting the point. What is the iframe? Here. This was such type of things like iframe. Here you can see that this URL, and we are going to steal this code. Okay, so in order to steal this URL, what it is saying, in order to steal URL passed to the iframe inside www.facebook.com, we should establish a relation between two windows. The window 1 that is having the page URL, that is having the window 1 which is having this URL, this page URL. So this is actually the window 1, you can say that, and we need to establish the connection between window 1, which is the parent window, you can say that, having this URL https www.facebook.com checkpoint and next previous page with Gmail code, and the window 2 which is having window 2 that have the page in https Facebook sandbox domain developer tools and playable preview assets, and handle str with XSS and attack script, and attack script will be here, you can see that. So the next the second window, you can say that the child window, which is having this URL with also this attack script is being hosted at there with XSS vulnerability inside this. So in order to steal the code, what we can do, we should to establish the iframe which is having this code. We need this code. We need the previous page with Gmail code which is having the OAuth code, These both the parent window 1, the window 1 which is the parent window, should establish a communication between a child window which is window 2, you can say that, and window 1 having this having this code, window 1 having this code, and window 2 having this code. Having this code. Window 2 having a bug which is XSS and an attack script. I hope this makes clear to you. This way, from window 2 we can, for example, access opener.frames0.location.href. This way, from the window 2 means child window, we can, for example, access the opener. Opener is a method inside inside the JavaScript. Inside the JavaScript, if it is allowed to use, then this can communicate, or this can open. For example, here I am going to do that. For example, opener method in JS, you will get lot of method method in JS. And opener, there's also property, you can see that opener property. So window.open, this is the actual you can see that URL and the target. And here I am going to use this as a demo. And what we are going to do, we are going to inspect this, and in order to use the opener window, so this method, what it will do, it will https facebook.com. Here you can see that you will be redirected to the facebook.com in a new tab. This window, this is the child window, and this has opened a new window and redirected at you to the facebook.com. This is basically the opener window does. So what it is saying, this way, from window 2 we can, for example, access the opener.frames0.location.href. Location.href having the Gmail code, and we will access this using this feature of this JavaScript. Opener, here is the window 1. Window 1 means which is having the previous page with Gmail code, and frame 0 is the iframe inside which has the https Facebook sandbox domain, captcha, reCAPTCHA iframe, and ref rear, and having this previous Gmail. Frame 0 mean this URL. Okay, this is trying to explain, and this URL contains this golden previous page with Gmail code. Since the frame 0 and window 2 are the same origin, we have access to read the page location.href which contains the stolen token. What it is saying, since frame 0 and window 2 are the same origin, and the frame 0 and the window 2 which is the child window, and frame 0 which is you can say that the sandbox having the Gmail code, both windows are having the same origin, having the www.facebook.com or Facebook sandbox domain, something like that. We have access to read the page location.href. Then we can read the location.href of both pages, whatever we can want, which contains the stolen token, The only protection that could have prevented this cross origin opener policy, there's a only protection which is the which is the cross origin opener policy, which has been heavily applied in Facebook in previous months, but luckily was not in the callback and checkpoint endpoints, and there it is not being implemented for some reason, but attack step. Here is the proof of concept we are going to go through in order to see how this has happened. Attack steps. The full attack below would be delivered via an uploaded script to the Facebook sandbox domain, which is at there. This on the full attack, which would be the script which is uploaded at there, and by exploiting the accesses explained in the second step. By exploiting the accesses which is already explained in the second step above, and having a code that does the following step. The code will do: log out the CSRF. First the code will do log out the user and log in the user from the attacker account, and after that what it does, it will open the https accounts.google.com/auth/auth2/auth and redirect URI. And after the logging in to user to attacker's account, then this code will relax sometime, and after that call this endpoint, which is google.auth2 and auth redirect URI. And after that it will do https://facebook.com/auth2 redirect, and response type is equal to permission, code and ID token, is scope, email, profile. This is the basics informations, and this code this is actually requesting the code, which is very important, and ID token of this Facebook account from the Gmail server. This will open a request to that using the window.open, opened window noted targeted. So you can see at there the open method window. This method is used in this syntax, having the URL or having URL and the target wherever you want to redirect this. And you can also see that here are the other features. This is the basic syntax of the window.open method. So it would redirect to the www.facebook.com/checkpoint and /checkpoint ID. Next, URL code, where URL with code is www.facebook.com/auth2 redirect, and after that code is equal to Gmail code. What it is saying, this will access the code via using window.open and open the window noted target in a new tab, and it would redirect to the Facebook endpoint. And next, URL with the code, where URL with the code is the facebook.com and this. So you can say that the opener window will redirect us to this main URL, which is having the Gmail OAuth code, and wait a few seconds and access the target.frame0.location.href. After waiting, this is explanation of the script which did automatically all the things. Wait for a few seconds and access the target.frame.location.href, and we should have the Google OAuth code and ID token. So you can say that we should have a Google OAuth code and ID token. In the attacker side, we can extract the email address from the ID token. As an attacker, what we are going to do, we can extract the email address from the ID token. We will also extract email from the ID token. Then we can start a password recovery process. We will start a password recovery process in facebook.com to set a right Sufi cookie. And we know what is the email address. We are going to start a password recovery process, which will recover our password and later choose to connect to the Gmail OpenID. And after that, we have successfully the right as Sufi cookie, and now we are going to choose to connect to the Gmail account, to the Gmail via OpenID, and we would be redirected to a similar URL like step 3, but with extra security parameters. and we would be redirected to the similar URL. Like in the step 3 you can see that this URL it is talking about, he's talking about, and but with an extra state parameter. What it is saying, but having an extra state parameter, we use the state from the previous step. We have already used the state from the previous state is in the redirect to the google.com, and we put it here and construct the final URL. The final URL will be something like this, code from the step 4. After waiting few seconds, you can access the code from using this, and you have successfully accessed the code, and now you can do many things, log into the Facebook account, or you can use set as write Sufi cookie and later choose to connect to the Gmail account, and we would be redirected to the similar URL like in the step 3. And now we have been redirected to the similar URL, and an extra state parameter is being attached. We use the state parameter from the previous step, but here is a state parameter is also needed for that in order to move further. So we have already captured the state parameter with the auth code as well, and we put it here to construct the final URL, and there will be the state URL and the code would be here, and we will be redirected to the victim account. If we visit this URL, we should find in the response body a link to access the victim account contains a nouns in the recovery/password URL. If we visit this URL, this URL, we should find the response body a link. A response body have a link access the victim account. This link will have the victim account contains a nouns, which is also having a nouns in the recovery password URL. So this was the report, and it was sent by the Yusuf Muda February 16, 2022, and February 2022 acknowledged by the Facebook, and March 21 fixed by the Facebook, and March 14 has been rewarded an amazing bounty, which is $44,642 bounty awarded by Facebook. This was the report. I hope you enjoy. If you learned something from there, make sure to subscribe and like this video, share with your friends, and follow me at Twitter, and follow the Yusuf Samuda as well, which did the all task, and he's an extraordinary guy. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.